Hi everyone, and welcome to my drawing equipment video. A few of you have been asking about the kind of materials that I use when I'm drawing, and I've been working on a whole bunch of different drawings recently, so I thought it'd be appropriate to finally show you the kind of stuff that I've been using. Firstly, you might have noticed that in most of my drawings I've been using this pencil, and it's the Pentel P207 0.7mm mechanical pencil. With it I use HB high-polymer leads. I bought like a stack of 100 or so leads 2 or 3 years ago, and they've lasted me this long and I still have loads of leads left, so these leads last a long time, which is awesome because that means they're not so brittle. I found that some leads can be really brittle and not work very well, but these leads are a lot stronger, which means that they last longer and I can add more shading to the drawing and not worry so much about the lead snapping all the time. In my recent drawings I've been spending a lot of time using these Copic markers. I really recommend them for anyone who likes that kind of art style. These ones are called Copic 36B colours. It's like a certain set of colours that I thought would work well with my drawings. There's so many different sets of Copic markers, so I recommend to check out their site. I'll probably put a link in the description box below, and they just have so many different pens and equipment. I think it's really cool to check out. One thing to point out is it's quite expensive, so it's something to consider, and I treated this first set of pens as an investment, so I've picked up this set of 36 colours and I'll replace the pens whenever I need to, but I'll also add to the collection as I go along. As I need more colours I'll just buy them, and I'll slowly build up the collection because these pens are fantastic and I really recommend them to anyone who likes this kind of style of art. The Copic markers also have two different nibs to them. There's one side that's called the super brush, which is much like the brush pens, and there's another side that is called the medium broad, which is like a chisel. It's a lot firmer and you can create some really cool different art styles with each pen. These pens are absolutely brilliant and I've never used anything like these before. They're so good for shading and blending, and the kind of art style you can create it varies so much. You see the way different artists use these pens and they can create such different styles. And when I'm colouring with pencils I use these Prismacolor pencils. I think they're absolutely brilliant for this kind of stuff, that you can blend really well with adding like the shades that you want, and then you can add like a layer of white pencil over the top to blend the colours together. I think it gives such an awesome effect. And there's also a blending pencil. On the Prismacolor box it says that they have high quality pigments for rich colour saturation, soft thick cores that create a smooth colour laydown for superior blending and shading, and these thick leads resist breakage, and all of that I can vouch for. These pencils have worked so well so far and I really recommend them. I've been a big fan of Prismacolor for a couple of years, and I really intend to go back and practice with these as much as I can, and I'm going to be blending them with the Copic markers because they work so well together. In a lot of my recent videos you may have been noticing that I've been using this pen for the outlining, and it's called a Pentel pocket brush pen. It's fantastic for creating outlines with thick and thin lines and creating a really dynamic shape, and it's perfect for designers and illustrators. And the shape of the brush itself is just like using a paintbrush, and I think that's really clever with a pen because you can have a lot more control and create some shapes that you wouldn't with just an ordinary pen. It's also really easy to refill. You just have to put in a new ink cartridge, just like an ink pen, and I think that's just awesome because some ink pens you have to just dip the nib in ink, but in this case you don't have to worry about any of that, and it creates a lot less mess. And I think overall this pen is a must-have for people who want to create their like comic books or manga style artwork. When I want to add highlights to one of my Copic marker drawings, I've been using this Uni-Ball Signo Broad Pigment Ink white pen. I've spoken about it a few times and I think it works so well for adding highlights to your drawings. It may be a bit thick, so I might look into getting a thinner version of the pen at some point so I can create the finer highlight shading and details. But this pen works so well. I never imagined it would work quite as well as it does. It creates some really opaque whites to add such great highlights, and I never imagined that possible. So I think that's an awesome pen to look into. And when I want to create some finer outlines with a bit more of a uniform line, I've been using this Sharpie pen. Mine's probably a bit worn out now. I've been using it so much that the nib is a bit worn out. But I think that goes to show that it's a good pen. I've been using it a lot. Most of my pencil drawings I've been working on paper from this sketchbook. It's called a Rowney Ebony Artist Sketchbook. It's A4 size paper with 150 GSM. And this paper has a bit more of a texture to it. I'm not really a big fan of paper that's completely smooth, except for when I'm using Copic markers. But when I'm using pencils, I like to have a bit more texture to the paper because it adds that extra sort of effect, and it's much easier to shade and blend with. I really like this paper, and this sketchbook came with 62 pages. I tend to cut the pages out and stick them to the desk because I really like to work on drawings where the paper is stuck down and it's not moving all over the place, which helps with the videos as well because I don't want to annoy you when the paper is just moving all over the place during the video. I've also recently picked up this Earthbound recycled sketchbook. It's 100% recycled. I've not used it yet, but I've been recommended it so many times for drawings with tanned paper. This creates a different kind of effect where you can actually add white pencil highlights instead of it just being on white paper where they don't tend to show up. With this kind of paper you can really focus on highlights and create really different style of drawings. And I reckon I'll be using this paper for some videos soon, some very different drawings, and I'm excited to try them out with Copic markers and Prismacolor pencils. This video is just advice and showing you the kind of materials that I've been using, but I always recommend to find your own personal preferences and find the pens and pencils that you really like to draw with. There's quite a lot of times when people tell you the kind of pencils and pens that you're meant to be using and stuff like that, but I don't think that's true. I think it's really important to find your own distinct styles and techniques that you like to use and the things that you prefer. So I encourage you to experiment with as many pens and pencils as you can and find the stuff that you like to use. Once again, thank you so much for the support on this channel, and any likes, shares, favourites, that kind of thing, it really means a lot to me and it really helps to support the channel. If you want to contact me via Twitter, Facebook or Instagram, I have my links in the description box below, and feel free to contact me there if you have any questions or if you have any drawing requests that you'd like to see me work on. Feel free to contact me at any time, and once again, thank you so much, and I will see you all soon.